Interesting. Yes, you absolutely can. That's a really great question. Okay, so what he's saying is, he's saying, what a good question, Daryl. Some people are like, what the hell are we talking about? Okay, so you got the seller here, right, Suchi? Seller has this house. Seller says, I'm done with this house. I'm ready to sell it. So Daryl comes along, and Daryl says, ooh, I like this deal, but you know what? I don't want to be involved in it long term because I'm not equipped. I don't have a management team. I don't want to hold this thing at all. So I'm going to actually assign this deal to an end buyer, okay? Now, this is a sub-2, let's say it's a sub-2 deal, okay? So they're taking over an existing mortgage. Okay, so Daryl puts a document together, and that document gets recorded against the property. Okay, it's in the new promissory note, and deed of trust new one gets created, and the end buyer now signs off on a document, okay, that says that if they ever default on that sub-2 deal, instead of it reverting back to the seller, it goes back to Daryl as a first right of refusal.
Is that a performance?
That's not a performance deed. It's just a paragraph in a performance deed is a paragraph inside of a deed of trust that just says if this person fails to perform, this is what happens. It's just a performance deed is actually a set of instructions. That's all it is. What to do in the event of somebody's failure of performance. Okay, so in this deed of trust, it would state that in the event of a default, Daryl has the ability to come in and catch up the arrears before anybody else does. Does that make sense? Yeah. Daryl, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
And it's
cool.
the servicing company that would be?
Yep, so this is what's great. So I have one of these deals right now that I assigned to a buyer. And every month I'm copied on the servicer's email showing that they're making the payments. So the servicer will tell you when that person defaults before anybody else does.
So Paige,
Yeah.
You're calling the end buyer
Yep.
is actually going to occupy the property
Yep.
and make the payment.
They could either occupy the property or they could be a landlord and decide to rent it out.
So Daryl can do that.
Daryl could do that, but Daryl might not be in a position of like, I want to, again, remember, everything goes back to mindset. Am I ready to hold properties? Am I ready to deal with tenants?
Okay.
Daryl's living in an RV right now.
I saw it. He's crazy in Arizona.
Was that cold?
That's awesome.
It's a badass RV.
But Paige,
Yeah.
so when you said it, and I got confused, when you said an end buyer, I was not understanding the fact that end buyer can actually be a tenant.
Yep.
So when you do the closing, is that person going to, I am so sorry, my love.
I love that. We got to get into a habit here. Okay, go ahead.
So what I was saying is that the end buyer can actually be the tenant and kind of like he's going to buy it, and that is in the contract?
Well, the end buyer would never be the tenant because a tenant is leasing.
Okay.
They would be the occupant of their own property.
That's what I'm saying. So the end buyer
Correct.
is the occupant.
Yep, correct.
And then he's making the pity payment,
Yep,
and then Daryl is just kind of in the back trying to,
Daryl's not involved.
yep. He's basically like,
But Daryl's not involved.
Daryl's not involved. He's just chilling on the sidelines like,
he is.
I'm going to watch and see what happens here. If that person ends up defaulting,
Exactly.
the servicing company notifies Daryl, and Daryl has the legal right to come in and take over through the way he wrote his contract.
And so when it closes, the servicing company will allow Daryl to know what the heck is going on?
Every month, yeah. So
Okay,
when you set up,
Daryl is the one, I'm so sorry. So Daryl is the one that does the servicing.
so yeah, so what will happen is Daryl will write a contract to his buyer. In that contract, you have a list of instructions to tell your title company to do all this work. Daryl's not doing anything. The buyer's not doing anything. His title company is doing all this paperwork. Everything we're talking about, these agreements, the servicing setup, literally all of that gets done by the title company.
Can Daryl turn around and, that would be a fixed price or a fixed?
Mhm.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, we could get even hairier. Like creative finance gets so crazy how diverse this is. Like Daryl could even, I'll throw something even crazier at you. Daryl could come back to this person. Let's say you get an email every month. Okay, I get an email on every property I own every single month. Properties I own, properties I don't own. I get something from Westar every month on my properties, and it shows who's involved, Okay, so you see all my Westar emails?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's one from just a couple days ago. Okay, so it shows you the payment, shows you how much interest, shows you who else is attached to the email, all that kind of stuff. This email comes in showing that the payment has been made. Okay, so this happens every month on every. Yep, Daryl knows about this. So Daryl he sets up the servicing when this buyer goes to close escrow. Okay, he sets up the title company to make sure that the title company knows the agreement, it's recorded properly at the state, right, the county recorder's office, so there's public record of it. The title company sets up the servicing the way that Daryl requests.
And there is a title insurance policy.
Yep, there's a title insurance policy on all of that stuff, yep. Okay, so Daryl could actually come back to this person. Let's say that he gets an email from Westar, and Westar says, your buyer's in default, this person's in default, or they're late. Daryl could call that buyer right here and go, hey man, I see you're in default. I don't want to take the property back from you. He could even go to them and go, I'll give you a personal loan to catch up the payments. This is where it gets crazy. I don't even want to, I could deviate. I'm going to give you a personal loan. You're behind $2,500. I'll give you a $2,500 loan to catch up that payment. But what I want is I'll put a $10,000 lien against the property. You could do anything you want.
So you're saying that occupant, I mean, that comment in buyers actually has ownership on this property. And
Yep.
you say you're putting a $10,000 lien on it, that means that now he's going to be owning, not only buying the property, but he's going to have a $10,000 loan or
Yep.
a second.
Uh-huh.
And you can foreclose also, do
You can foreclose, yeah.